Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of our Legend of the Five Rings Chronicle. I'm the Red Archon. My name is Will, and I'll be your storyteller this evening. Last we left off with our group, we opened up with the Scorpion at the marketplace, noticing the simplistic nature of the whole place, how out here there is not just a jade store hanging around the corner. You can't just go around, ask for jade, and get it. It's a rare commodity. But we switched over from him at the shops to the crab encampment, where Doji and Tamori were sitting with Kunisango, who happens to be the mentor of the crab that we lost after season 1. But there was a noticeable vibe going on, and the crane excused himself. We switched back to the Scorpion, as he tried to experiment with his new arm, and noticed that it was eating some of the taint from a piece of jade that he actually got from a craftsman. And it felt a little bit like a phantom limb, like he actually started to feel tactile sensations. I think back at the crane encampment, though, Doji was looking around, because he didn't want to use the sword that was intended for his daughter, for himself. He saw that his wife was a bit on the mopey side, a little bit morose. They talked for a little bit, and then he ended up going to the dragon encampment, where the Mirumoto enjoyed the fact that he came to him and asking for a favor a little too much for a samurai. But calling upon his wind kami, the Doji managed to find a katana that felt a little less dragon and a little more him. The hilt, the handguard, even looked like a swirling hurricane. And the next day, everyone partook of the morning event. They got to see the obstacle course, elaborate. No expenses were spared in this situation. Everyone got to see the kind of rise and fall and the tumbling of different people as they tried to get to the race unharmed or unscathed. And towards the end, our Scorpion reached out through his arm and suddenly felt that there was like a hunger or a thirst that he hadn't noticed before. And he felt that there was a presence somewhere in the estate of the daimyo. And as they followed the Scorpion out, they saw that the daimyo's wife, the Daidoji that he married, was being read to by a servant near their little koi pond. And as they came down, they saw that the koi pond suddenly flash boiled, and there was a small rumbling as the kanji symbol for time was burned into the rocks around the koi pond. And from the four cardinal directions erupted the giant symbols of 10, the number 10 in kanji. So she felt the sensation kind of dissipate as everyone was trying to get back to work. And we left off with the Soshi kind of asking for the culprit to step forward as the bell announcing the evening event rang out. And we're going to pick it up with a new face. Hello, everybody. Everybody has kind of stood still. There's maybe a dozen people in this courtyard. Everybody's kind of looking back and forth between the Soshi and the Daidoji, trying to figure out if they should stand still until somebody steps forward, or they're allowed to get back to their work or to even see the evening event of the gempukku ceremony.
I look at everybody. Actually, wait a minute. If I remember correctly, somebody was going to start questioning people.
Mm-hmm.
No one could leave yet. And I look over at my Scorpion friend and I go, "What were you asking?"
Forgive me, the evening's events have been somewhat tumultuous, and I feel as if time is elongated and it has been forever since that explosion happened.
Smooth.
I believe we were going to see if the culprit was willing to step forward.
Shiba Kusho.
So far, I've seen.
Go ahead.
So far, it doesn't seem that anyone has done so.
Fair enough.
Shiba Kusho, as our camera kind of pans around the room and we get to see a over-the-shoulder shot from you, you've got a good angle on the whole room, whereas the doji and the soshi are kind of focused on the koi pond and this alley where the daidoji and her servant are, and where most of the peasants are located. You notice that behind a pillar, hidden from the view of most of the room, if not all of it, there is an older gentleman who is just kind of like sliding his back foot further back, stopping, sliding his front foot to match, and he's just very creepily and very silently trying to get to one of the side doors. And he's got this face of worry on him.
I will turn. I will give out the equivalent of the Skyrim stops criminal scum, and I will immediately attempt to apprehend him.
Okay. For the doji, the soshi, and the audience, could you describe what Shiba Kusho looks like as he springs into action?
So, the first thing you notice about Shiba Kusho is that he is just under 6'3". He is a very large Rakugan man.
Jesus.
Yes. He has he's in armor. He's in his lacquered samurai armor, full phoenix
Regalia.
Exactly. Regalia,
colors.
And just for the sake of not having to go through it again later, you will notice there are other details, small details on it that seem personal to him. Not necessarily something you've seen on other Phoenix armor, but small details, nothing that stands out egregiously. He has a spear also. He has and along with the weapons at his side.
So the two other gentlemen will hear this sudden cry of denouncement, and immediately, the moment the older man kind of locks eyes with Shiba Kusho, he turns and runs.
Well, that would make me run
Okay.
after him
Right.
as well.
So whoever's chasing, please roll.
It works. We asked them to give themselves up, and it apparently worked.
Yeah, look at that.
Teamwork.
Yeah, if everybody that's chasing could give me an athletics roll.
Athletic.
So
There we are.
if you've never rolled
Strength.
if you've never rolled on D20, it's going to be the T. Under the column T, there's going to be a button with the D20 on it. You press that. If you have training, if you have any ranks in that skill. Otherwise, you hit the U for untrained, and if you have an emphasis, for
Is it strength?
Chasing.
The trait?
Yep.
Okay.
So, Will, I don't know if this would be considered chasing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more angling because I am planning on battering this old man to the ground with a blast of air.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
And I just want to make sure I don't hit any bystanders because it's a fairly wide area.
Could I re-roll that one by using my kami to push me along?
You can't reroll the one, but you can definitely ask the kami to help in some way, shape, or form.
Actually, ask the kami to slow the guy down.
Hmm. Okay. Well, there's a
That's
7.
interesting, and he's going to use a wind spell.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's a 17 and a 12, and a peasant only has a 2 keep 2. So, yeah. There is a moment where there's a waterfall of just air that shoots down in front of him. He trips over his own feet as this frightens him, and both Shiba Kusho and Doji Izanagi will just tackle him.
In which case, I will not throw out a blast of air capable of knocking a grown man through a wall.
Okay.
I was just thinking what would happen if my kami was affecting him and your wind spell went in.
He would be probably pulped against
Yeah,
whatever
like
load-bearing
slaughtered.
services nearby.
You both also rolled high enough that when you tackle him, you notice that there is a bit of blood coming from a wound on his arm. He was holding it to his stomach as he was running, and now that he's been tackled, you can see that it is a grievous wound.
I'm not gonna. When I tackle him, I keep his head to the ground, face down, and I'm holding him by the hair, and I check the back of his neck.
No scar.
Okay, then I holding him by the hair, I pull him up, and
He's wounded.
I look at the phoenix, and I look at him, I go, "Thank you."
You're welcome.
He's woozy.
He's wounded.
As he stands up, and he's kind of wobbly. How many ranks in medicine does everybody have?
I have. I think I have like one.
You
I
have
have a big
0.
old goose egg.
I think
Medicine.
I have some.
Yep, I have a whole whopping 0.
Yep.
But I get to keep 1 extra dice because of perfect memory.
Please hold.
Yeah.
I was reading spells. I have a 2 in medicine.
Don't you have a healing spell?
I do, which is what I was looking at my spells for.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. With 2 ranks, you can definitely tell that if this guy doesn't get medical attention, he will die. He has cut himself up the arm instead of across.
Oh, he was committing suicide. I wonder. Oh, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing that I've been reading up on it,
Yeah.
did he cast something while cutting himself?
No, this looks more like he was fueling the Maho.
That's what I meant. Like, was he fueling Maho with
Oh
it?
yeah. I thought you meant like was he hiding something?
No,
I was
because I've been reading up on it.
Mhm.
I know nobody's supposed to know that.
yeah.
Yeah. So I was wondering if that's what it looks like. That's what he was doing.
Yep.
The 29 on the healing cast.
Nice.
Oh shit! Yeah. Yeah. You. How are you healing him?
So as he's struggling, or weakly, feebly trying to move about, Tetsuro just calmly approaches, and he's already muttering to himself. For our friend who does not know what this individual looks like, he's black robed, with a high collar, heavily embroidered. The kanji of the Soshi and the Scorpion Clan Mon are embroidered into the back. He is unlike a lot of Scorpion masks, his is completely smooth and featureless, made of a white porcelain. Almost looks like one continuous piece. His hair is black, long, straight. He's maybe 5'8", 5'9" tops, very slender. His wide brimmed wicker hat, and you notice that the right arm of his kimono is pinned to the shoulder. He only appears to have one arm. When he kind of lets his sleeve dangle down, you can see tattoos have been marked into his skin, just going up and down. And he begins to mutter, "Please hold him steady."
Do I recognize this pretty obviously as a Shugenja of the Scorpions. Or
there is you don't have katana, but you do have your wakizashi on you, right?
Yes,
Yes.
I do have the wakizashi on me. It is peacebound. It is not ready for drawing.
Yeah. So you would see that there's no katana, but the wakizashi does put him as part of the samurai caste. And so you imagine that he's either a courtiard or a Shugenja.
So I get him under one arm.
And I call upon what remaining water kami might still be around to not let this man die until I've had my way with him. And cast the gentle touch, I believe it's called.
Okay. You'll see some of the vapor from the boiling water kind of coalesce around him, and it'll wrap itself around his wound almost like a snake. And you'll see the skin knit itself. The bleeding stops. He gets his footing, kind of stands up.
It appears you've failed on 2 fronts this evening. Although I will confess your first attempt was significantly more successful than your second.
As he was healing him, I pat him down for any blades.
There is a very crude, what looks to be a sharpened bread knife. It doesn't even have a handle on it. It's just a piece of metal.
Yeah, just anything so he can't.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but
I get it. And I literally throw it to the ground.
Yeah. He does not resist. He's actually kind of in awe that you would spare him.
For now. Oh, a little description. My guy is he stands about 5'4", 5'5". He is later in his years.
He's a little guy.
He has gray in his mustache and his goatee. He has his hair pulled back. Everything's very well put. There's not one hair out of place. Like no flyaways. Nothing. He's dressed in functional but beautiful white and blue kimono that the bottom trim is all cranes leaping into flight. On his back he has a giant crane mon. And he wears a ring which has the dragon mon on it. And he has a stunning katana and wakizashi set.
I thought you were going to say a stunning pair of balls, and I was like,
stunning pair of balls. No,
he does.
Yeah, he does actually. Yeah, he's other than that, he just looks like the atypical older samurai. He doesn't. There's nothing really that different about him or anything.
Yeah. Mine's the opposite. He's a very, very much younger samurai.
The age of the scorpion is hard to determine. He is masked.
Though they're so I'm still holding this guy by the hair.
Yeah, you and the Sheba are both holding him.
I get close to his ear and I go, I know exactly what you are. I hook him and we're going to take him into the building. Because we're not going to question him out here in front of everybody.
Oh, he never made it outside. You guys,
oh, good. I thought he made it outside.
No.
Awesome. We're good then. We can do it right here.
Yeah.
I'll make sure there's no, if you can hold him, I will do a little quick circle.
Actually,
and make sure.
I draw my katana with the oh my god, the saisho, the sheath is called a.
Oh yeah. I forget what it's called.
But I pull him out, right? And I basically use it to hook his arms.
Okay.
And I make sure it hurts.
Sure.
Thank you for your assistance.
And I just
nod to Kusho.
Oh, of course. I've been rude. Shiba Kusho of the Phoenix.
I offer a small polite bow. Doshi Tetsuro of the Scorpion clan.
Hmm.
The servants all kind of start to meander away from this. The Daidoji and her.
As they're meandering away, I look at them to see if I get any weird looks from any of them.
No, they just go up to the Daidoji. They bow and wait for them to be dismissed. And when they are, the Daidoji and her servant are the only ones that kind of like stick around.
Okay.
And they're maybe 20 feet away from you, but she is definitely watching the proceedings.
Okay. I look at her real quick. I go, "Is my cousin okay?" Remember, she was there, and I covered her with the explosion.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I look to the servant and with unblinking eyes, speak.
What would you like to know?
I twist a little bit so it hurts.
I would like to know everything. Vague, I know, and not particularly pointed, but given the situation that you attempted what you just attempted after realizing that we found you out, I believe that taking time to dissemble or to try to obfuscate the truth would be a waste of what time we both have left.
I don't know what those words mean. I was a tanner, though. Before.
Why did you react the way you reacted after the explosion?
I was told not to get caught.
And who put you up to this?
Nobody. I volunteered.
But you were told not to get caught. By whom?
That the Lady Tanako.
Lady Tanako. Out of game, refresh my memory.
Never heard that name before.
Okay.
But you do hear the Daidoji kind of taking a sharp intake of breath.
And the Lady Tanako told you to use that sorcery to cause what you have just caused.
She said it would heal the land.
Was there any reaction? Did they hear the name? The noble?
The Daidoji?
Yes.
Yeah. Like you could see that the moment that he said Lady Tanago, like she kind of clutched her pearls. Had a moment of like that was the intake of breath. She was like,
okay.
Yeah.
So
Do I think that he's lying or acting? I believe that's a sincerity roll.
You don't need to roll. He's got no dice in line.
Okay.
He's not.
Okay. And when did she ask this of you?
I volunteered last week.
Last week. Were there other volunteers?
There were others, but none that could come into the town. My arm is
she
hurting.
the one that taught you how to do what you did?
He nods and he kind of tries to make himself a little bit more comfortable.
Mm-hmm. I allow him to be a little more comfortable.
This person is like Etta, right? Like they're not a samurai.
No, this is a peasant.
Yeah.
So,
do you know who I am?
No, sir.
Do you know what I am?
No, sir.
You are not familiar with the Scorpion clan?
No.
Unfortunately, you are going to get a rather rigorous education in my clan's formalities in regards to murder and the type of sorcery that you used.
What is rigorous?
With a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of. I do not have my family's gift for interrogation. I never developed the stomach for it, and frankly, I find it to be not the best way of obtaining information. But in this case, I believe that that might be what is in order. Um, why did you do this? Why did you volunteer?
To help.
To help. Why did you think that help was needed?
Because things haven't been the same since the Imperial presence in the city.
And so this
In which way?
this individual that you were volunteering to assist is attempting to correct that, to take it back to a time before the Imperial involvement.
I don't know about that. She's been helping some of us.
Have there been other attempts to heal the land?
No, she's been taking care of and helping others. Some of us have just wanted to be more useful.
Where can we find her?
She meets people at the old temple, but she takes them somewhere else. Somewhere in the forests.
How adept, I'm sorry, I keep forgetting that my vocabulary is not translating particularly well.
Your what is doing what?
Are you a tradesperson? What is your trade?
I'm a
Aside
tanner.
from murder.
Like I said, I was a tanner.
Do you think that it's possible to be a one-armed tanner?
Do
you think that you would be skilled at being a one-armed tanner?
Oh no. It would take some time to relearn.
Oh, you can learn to do many things with but a single arm, my friend. I do think it would be very difficult to be a tanner with one arm and perhaps one leg, or just one arm. I imagine that would be quite difficult.
Yeah.
The reason I asked this question of you is because for what you have done today, I cannot say that you will be executed. You will not necessarily be killed. But there are fates worse than that are going to be available to you. I'm going to see you taken to interrogation, and while we make that journey, I want you to think of any other information that I might find useful about this person, about the type of people that work with her, about her magic that she taught you. Anything that you think I might find interesting, I will give you time to think about it. As we take you to people that might help answer those questions about whether you will be an adept tanner with one arm.
The lady Tanako was the nurse for the previous daimyo. She's been helping the sick and wounded. She's been teaching, and she does not turn away. There are people that used to be bandits and Ronin that are helping her.
They all meet at the old temple.
She does.
What were you to do after you were successful?
Go back to the temple.
Straight away or at another time?
No, straight away. She would have come to me when the time was right.
Well, I believe our friend here has been honest, has been open, has answered our questions diligently. However, I am not perfect, and there may be questions that I have forgotten to ask. Therefore, I would recommend, Izanagi, that we convey our friend here to the Scorpion camp.
Agreed.
So that way we can ask people that are better at coming up with questions might be able to think to ask them.
Yes, but before we do that, we need to tell the master of the house. It happened in his house, and it is.
I was going to ask that you convey that to the Lord as I convey him to our place.
Oh, we're already on his shit list, so it's not like it could make it any worse. Why not? I look at Oh, I forgot, who are the two people here with us other than us three?
The doji and her servant.
So I look at Daidoji,
Mm-hmm.
and I go, we need to go see him right now. Will you come with me?
Of course.
Okay. I only met you just now, and I bowed to the Phoenix. Would you make sure that my friend here gets to the Scorpion camp with our prisoner?
I will see it done.
I look at two random guards outside. Actually, wait a minute. When I came here, there were a few Crane with me, right?
Yeah, they've dispersed after the bell.
Damn it. Oh, that's true. The bell, because they're going to have the nighttime thing. Oh, we need to go to that. I need to go to that. Okay. So, wait a minute. That's where he's going to be, right?
Yeah.
Shit.
If I may, I'm going to see to our friend personally. I would say that given the events that are about to transpire, perhaps our new friend would like to go with you. I am not without the means of assuring our friend's compliance. I can tend to getting one person to the camp by myself.
At least we can see you partway there on our way to the festivities.
Of course.
The doji kind of nods at her servant, and she rushes over and grabs a parasol. It comes over.
Okay, so
I will walk with you then.
thank you. We're going to have to go to the event and let him know surreptitiously, not to raise eyebrows, that we have somebody under custody being questioned by the Scorpion. Okay, I got this. Let's go.
As you start walking, the Daidoji kind of meanders, just kind of like sidles up to where the Soshi is. And she just bends forward and kind of looks at the peasant. How is Tanako? And he kind of is taken aback by the question, but he smiles for the first time. She is good, my lady. She is doing what she has always done, helping others. And the Daidoji kind of nods. I see. Thank you.
As we are walking,
Hmm.
I will gently prod. After seeing what I just saw, I will gently prod her for information about her.
And as you are about to part ways to head down to the campground, or rather the staging grounds, and so she's up to the campgrounds, she will kind of reach out her hand, but she doesn't touch you. So she be gentle with him.
I will be as gentle as I am capable of. You have my word.
Thank you. And as you two split ways, the Daidoji talks to Doji and Shiba-san, and she says, the Lady Tanako used to be the nurse who took care of the daimyo and his children before the Miwa was assigned this province. I met her once when we were being guided around by the magistrates to see the different provinces that my husband might be given. She was a very kind soul. I don't know why she would have turned out like this.
Mago, my, I always said it wrong. How do you say it again?
Maho Sukai?
Maho has a way of twisting the soul. She may not be the same person you knew.
That is sad to learn.
Apparently, she practitions because she taught him. There's never been a good blood speaker. And I know this might be false hope, but it's still hope. She could be one of those skinwalkers. It may not really be her. I fought a creature that wore the skin of my father, and it was indistinguishable.
How is this information being digested by Shibakusho, who has never heard such outlandish stories?
No, his first thought is that this is some bullshit. It's a lot to take in. He's still processing. There's a few things that aren't adding up to him for him, but he's purely in protection mode for this small group, and he is absorbing that to maybe discuss later.
And by the way, I look at your character. I'm sorry, but I must ask this of you. Would you mind turning around and lifting your hair so I can see the bottom of your neck?
Certainly.
As soon as it starts to do it, that's enough. It's fine. The fact that you're willing to show me, that's all I need to know.
I'll have to explain that to me one of these days.
These creatures, I'll tell you right now, these creatures, when they take a skin, there's a noticeable scar in the back of the neck I describe it. I'm like, it's about this big, and it's usually in this spot right here. That's why when we threw him to the ground, the first thing I did was check his neck.
We don't do this in Phoenix Land. I will be going back shortly.
This is bullshit. I'm leaving.
Yeah. You get to the campground, the staging grounds.
Okay.
And you see that all of the kids are splayed out. And they're standing in front of canvases. The evening test is a test of painting. And when you get there, you can see that the daimyo is off to the side in his little dais, bored out of his mind. Like he is very clearly just kind of head lolling. Very so often he just kind of like catches himself.
He doesn't snap up when he sees me walking in. Because I shouldn't be here. I should be investigating.
He doesn't.
Okay, I tried to walk toward him, but not obviously. I don't want to make a scene of it.
The Yojimbo kind of steps forward as he sees you in the Daidoji. More to like present himself and offer her a seat next to her husband.
I help her to the seat.
And after like a step or two, the Yojimbo just kind of grabs his sword and just lets the bottom of his hilt touch your chest to kind of stop you.
I look up at him and I raise an eyebrow. Like, you really want to try this?
He kind of
I have a message for the daimyo.
And she puts her hand on his shoulder. I'll let him know, Doji-san. Thank you for
I
escort.
bow to her. And I bow to her. And I glance over at my daughter. How does she look? Does she look nervous, calm, what?
She is taking some broad strokes and then kind of stepping back, and there is this frustration that comes over her. And she just goes back to the painting, does a couple of more strokes, steps back, and she's just... If she were at home, you know that she'd be pulling her hair out. But the decorum of the place that she's in, she's just kind of like crosses her hands and is just trying to dissect
I'm going
the
to try
problem.
something interesting. Because whispers can be carried on the wind. Through my kami, I whisper so she hears in her ear. Breathe, calm down, and focus.
There's a breeze that picks up as you say focus. And it kind of swirls around the campground, the staging ground. And you can see the wind kind of pull her hair from behind her forward. And she just kind of bats it back and goes back and grabs another thing of paint and goes back to the canvas. At the Scorpion grounds, you will see a Bayushi.
Yeah, so about that, we don't make it to the Scorpion grounds.
Okay. That's what I thought.
So once we're very firmly out of view of everybody, I calmly remove whatever restraints he's been put under.
He doesn't have any.
I'm very sorry that I had to be as mean to you as I was in there, but the others were watching.
I don't understand.
Okay, the lady has many friends. Not all of them are known to her. And I'm not going to let others hurt you. I had to pretend that I was among them. I cannot let others know that she has as many friends as she has.
I think I understand.
I knew you would. You were chosen for a reason. You're a good, loyal protector. And so I want to make sure you get back to her safely. I will tell the others that I was beset and you escaped. Only you and I will know the truth.
It will cause trouble for you, samurai.
I would rather the trouble that happens to me happen to me than what would happen to you. You were the one that took the risk, not me. I hope all of the ladies, protectors, followers, have your courage. Now, quick, be away with you. I couldn't bear it if something were to happen.
Yes, sir. And he bows low. And
I bow back because I am a hero of the people. And commoners love me.
he starts to paddle his way out of the town.
I give him a quick run this way where the guards aren't kind of overview.
He does.
And then once he's safely out of earshot, I use my spell that allows me to have a whispered conversation at the distance of over a mile.
Mm-hmm.
And I report into the Scorpion camp. Found assailant working with the enemy, have gained trust of assailant, have released assailant. Assailant will lead us to larger threat. I believe the closest thing to the person I've been reporting to, if I remember correctly, was the woman that tried to grab my junk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
Yep.
yeah, I will report back to her.
It's a very indecent proposal kind of situation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm debating following him now, but I feel like that wouldn't be wise. Doing it one-on-one. Call me old-fashioned.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I will take a leisurely stroll towards the same place that they're going. So I'll be arriving quite some time later. I'll let them do their RP for a while.
Yeah. Come into the scene whenever you feel appropriate.
Okay. Ben has to step away for just a second.
Yep.
I'll be right back.
There's a moment where the person in charge of the evening exam comes over and lets you know, since your daughter's part of this doji, that the students were given from the time that the bell rang and they amassed themselves until the sun's last bit of light is extinguished, to paint their favorite scene from their home. They will receive scores based on the clarity of the image, their color choice, and the distribution of place in the space they've chosen.
How are the Phoenix doing?
As far as the tests are concerned, in total, or are you just concerned about this test in general?
This one.
In this one,
Painting.
they all look pretty steady. Some of them, like the crab, for instance, you know that they're finger painting.
Yeah, just every single one of them is a Jimmy trash cans.
Yeah, 100%. The crane, there are some who are just in their element.
Yeah.
And some that aren't. The one that's really surprising, though, is all the Scorpion are really calm about this exam. Every clan has one that's like frantic, trying to figure out what they're doing, except for the crab, who are all finger painting and eating paint. The crab. But none of the Scorpion are phased by this exam.
Do I notice the similarity between the one that Doji looked at and him?
Yeah, there's a familial resemblance. But there's something angular about her, more dragon than crane. Like where he has soft edges, she has hard edges. Where he kind of favors one side when he's standing, she favors the other side.
Doji, do you have family in the competition?
That's you, Pete. You're muted.
My wife just texted me. Hold on a second.
Yep. You okay?
Hold on. Yeah. Just asked me to take care of something, and I just took care of it.
Okay.
Something for my sister.
Okay.
It's an emergency type thing.
Okay.
Anyways, I'm sorry. With the dog and my sister, I couldn't. What did you say?
Got it. No,
My daughter. Yes.
He noticed that there was a familiar look.
Yes. Yeah. And I lean over to you and go, that one's my daughter over there.
She's doing well.
She takes a lot more after her mother than I.
Care to share anything about her?
I show you the ring, which has a dragon mon in it.
Understood.
Yeah. So, though she seems a little nervous, she's never been a good painter. She's more of a poet.
Right. To be fair, I have no idea what they're doing. Not mine either.
If you go around, you'll notice that a lot of the paintings, a lot of the crab paintings don't make any sense to you. But like there's a lot of paintings that are just color and shapes. There's others that are like very clearly, that is a castle, that is like a cherry blossom tree, that is a koi pond. There are some that are just like, man, those are fantastic paintings. And there's a bunch that are just like, is that a clown? Or is that like their family member?
Right. It's just circles where all the body parts are. Yeah.
There's a stick figure or two, especially around the crab guys. Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah. There's a happy face in the corner. One of them has all of their yellow in the upper right hand corner. You know that's the sun. And as the last little bit of light vanishes over the horizon, torches are lit, and all of the paintings are kind of brought over. And
how does my kid look? Like pissed off at herself?
She's resigned herself to what she's got on canvas.
Fair enough.
And they come over, and all of the clans are judged one at a time. The winners of the evening exam are Bayushi Garahito, the Isawa Hanako, and Asahina Higo. So the Scorpion, the Phoenix, and the Crane. Your daughter, if you want to know, Miyamoto
I would walk over and look at her painting.
Yeah. She scored a 3. 3 out of 5.
Not bad.
Mhm.
For somebody that barely ever paints, not bad.
It is crude, but the spacing is the training grounds of your home.
I look at the judge, right?
Mhm.
And I go, may I keep this?
Oh, yes, of course. All the students are allowed to keep their paintings.
I take a bow. I look at my daughter and I went, I'm keeping this.
She rolls her eyes.
It's home.
It's not that good.
But you did it. Now remember, you've always made me proud.
Mm.
And you will always make your clan proud.
Yes.
Both of them.
Thank you, Father.
And I pick up the painting and I'm walking with it.
Yeah.
Proud dad.
Yeah. Once everybody has their scores and are allowed to leave, they're reminded that the next day is a rest day. Everybody's allowed to do whatever they want within the confines of decorum. But the day after will be the 5th day and the 3rd day of actual tests, which the morning exam will be a horse race. The evening exam will be origami.
Oh, my kid has that one in the bag. I go over to the crane that won 3rd place.
Yep.
And I congratulate them.
He bows low to you. Thank you, Doji-san.
I go look at his piece.
It is... It's actually a painting of Kyuden Kakita.
Oh.
Which you are familiar with because you trained there for the formative years of your life.
Yep.
It is... there are callbacks to its glory days. Like that there's some pieces of art that have been ruined by warfare and things like that, but he has painted them in their prime.
That's impressive. I look at him and I say, if this painting does not find a place in your home, I would love to display it in mine.
He steps back and he bows, and he literally throws himself to the ground and just kind of puts his forehead to the ground. That you would bring great honor to my family, Doji-san.
You have brought honor to our clan and your family with your talent. Rise.
And he stays there for a little bit longer. And you notice, and you notice there's a moment where once enough time has passed for him to kind of get his frustration across, you'll notice that there's a little tug on his sleeve.
I look over.
Nothing's there. But it's very similar to the tugs you get when you're win kami.
I know. I'm thinking, I'm like, somebody has a kami. Interesting. Was it wind? Did I feel some air?
You didn't feel anything.
Huh.
But
okay.
The Asahina are the Shugenja of the Crane clan.
Yeah, that's true.
And their affinity is air.
So when he gets up, again, I say good work. Get some rest tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. And I start heading over to my to my scorpion friend who's just walking in at the end.
Yep.
As always,
missed the
fashionably
whole
late.
event.
Yep. As always, fashionably late. So what did he tell you?
Oh, nothing. I set him free.
You what?
I let him go.
Why?
The best way to hunt a larger predator is sometimes to let a smaller one lead you to the larger predator.
Bait.
We have gained every piece of information I feel we could, and he has developed the notion that I am on the side of the woman whom he was taking orders from.
You don't happen to have a way of tracking him, do you?
We know where he's going.
To the temple. But after he
Correct.
told me that he was going to go to the temple, do you think he's still going to go to the temple?
Yes, I do believe so, and he's going to go to the temple alone. So when the people that are waiting there are able to see him, they will see that he is alone. He will inform them that one of the lady's agents in the court assisted, and then I will be following relatively close by.
And we will be following behind you?
Correct. Provided, of course, I don't believe I've. If you said your name, I apologize. I've had a lot on my mind this evening.
It's Shibakusha.
Kusho, we once had more muscle on our little investigative squad, and you do seem to have a prodigious amount of it. Would you be willing to lend some of it to our task?
I'm not unwilling, but I would appreciate being brought up to speed as much as you can.
I had assumed that in the intervening time since I left you, Izanagi would have taken a moment
We
to
really
apprise
didn't
you
have-
of that.
We didn't have time. There was a painting competition.
Ah, yes, and instead of letting
But
our person who has
I am
witnessed state
thirsty.
secrets know what was going
I am
on,
thirsty.
I'm
I am thirsty,
sure
and
you
I am
spent a
looking
lot
for
of time
sake.
talking. I'm sure you spent a lot of time talking to other people.
Mm.
I'm sure you. Yes.
It seems like there's a lot to unpack here.
I motioned to my crane mon. Of course, I was talking to other people. It's kind of my job. So I will tell you everything that happened, but this is the type of story that should be shared over sake.
This time, I'm assuming that there is a reason for such tactics.
We are playing with very skilled opponents in a very subtle game. It is sometimes not so subtle.
Is this a private store sake discussion, or is this a tea house discussion?
I don't believe we need to tell the whole affair in a tea house.
This is a tea house discussion.
As I stated, I think a tea house is a terrible idea, but we will go where you want.
I will go to a tea house where there are other samurai.
You know that the tea house in town is owned by the Bayushi.
Oh, I go there. Okay, then we're going there. And I once more tell the entire story. But I tell the story.
Yeah. Is it just to Shibakusha, or are you telling the story to the gathered?
I tell it loud enough that even though I'm telling it to him, I'm performing the story. I'm using my.
Yes,
I forgot.
Now we're letting every samurai within earshot know that anyone among them may be a shapeshifter.
About what I did.
Simply
Yeah.
I got
Brilliant
I got a
tactical
point
thinking.
of glory from it. A lot of people know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And between you and me, I don't want to keep it a secret because this is the type of shit that things go south. Everybody here needs to know what's going to happen. Because the last time we kept it from everybody, and a ton of samurai died.
And this time you'll have them questioning each other, and I'm sure that
Okay,
more
yeah,
than
well-
one duel will result. That's fine.
What ended up happening, one of them copied me, walked into my camp.
Yep.
So yeah,
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
yes.
So you'll be told this horror story of a different town where they prevented the collapse of a wedding because shapeshifters were trying to undermine the empire.
Yep.
And how one shapeshifter copied the doji and killed an entire group of crane. And then he'll tell you about how it's happening again here.
And hold on, and how one of them copied my father.
Well, copying his father.
And fought just like him.
Yep. And how he led a group of samurai to their death.
I did not. That was a glorious death. We died in for the empire.
Sure. They sure did.
Oh, by the way, that death, even though it was really not glorious, I make the lion sound like a fucking badass. And I make it was a lion, and who else died with it? There was another one.
The Phoenix.
A phoenix. I make them both sound like badasses with the way they died.
He'll also conveniently leave out the part where his best friend, who is a crab, fell into an epileptic seizure. And
Oh no, that's not mentioned at all.
couldn't do anything for them, and actually became
Nope,
a hindrance.
not mentioned at all.
Not mentioned at all whatsoever.
No.
Uh,
Actually,
I, however, do mention
in
it.
the story, the crab doesn't go with us.
Yeah,
ooh.
so as he's telling the story, I am giving the real version to Kusho in a muted undertone, almost as an MST3K style commentary.
Point of order. You were not in the cave when they both died. Hold on a second.
I was, however, in the game for the crab, and I have heard the story
Oh yeah,
ad
I'm
nauseum
just saying
about
that
what happened.
The one part that I'm really I want to make sure to honor the lives of that crab and that phoenix.
The lion and the Phoenix.
That's a part I play up because they died. They didn't die in the best way possible, and I want to make them sound.
Yeah, the lion
like
and the Phoenix. There's no duplicitous nature there, but there is some.
I just omit. I don't
Shading.
lie. I omit. Very big difference.
Yeah. Whatever helps you sleep at night.
But yeah, I tell the story, and I kind of throw in enough information, like look for the scar on the back of the neck, stuff like that, so everybody could be vigilant about it.
Ben, for your honesty in retelling the story correctly, I'm going to give you a point of honor.
Thank you.
Actually, you know what? You're 2 honor. So I'm going to give you 3 points instead.
All right, thank you.
So now you're at 2.8. You're almost becoming an honorable man.
Scorpion with honor? What the?
In this economy?
So it just shows whole points here. Oh, you already did the honor?
Yeah, I did it. I gave it.
Okay.
I'm here fishing for glory, bro.
Yeah, you told it once already. This is like your 8th time.
No, this is
like,
the third time I've told it.
Look at how badass I was.
No, the entire time I'm not really playing myself up.
Give you 1 little
I'm
point.
playing everybody else around me up.
Give you 1 point.
Usho, do you have any experience with
Thank you.
these kind of creatures, or have you been on any dangerous missions that might? I see that you carry the Iari as opposed to more prominently than one would have a sword. What made you pick that weapon?
I find that being my size with a weapon of equal size tends to deter more fights before they start.
Good answer.
With your size, I'm surprised a bunch of crab haven't tried something with you just to try to prove a point.
Sometimes they're smart.
Now that Akodo's gone, not Akodo, Agiro's gone.
Yeah.
A lot of the crab are regular sized. Like until Shiba Kusho kind of made his presence known, Tamori Mori has been the largest samurai in the ground.
But Tomorrow Mori is fucking huge. But yes.
Yeah.
So who put you on this task?
The fates, pretty much, because what are the chances of me being put into places that this is happening in the entire empire?
Is the Empire aware that you are doing
Yes.
this?
Yes, the emperor knows what happened in the village with the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
The imperial family knows. Actually, do I have it? Yeah, I have it. I was made a magistrate after the events. And I was asked to come here for the wedding. Not for the wedding, for the what are they having here? It's the wedding, right?
The Topaz
competition.
Championship.
The Topaz Championship, but there's something else happening here also.
Nope, just a Topaz
Isn't
Championship.
the Emperor coming or something?
The Emperor is coming because of
The Emperor is coming. Yes,
the Topaz Champion.
it's a Topaz Championship, and the Emperor is coming.
Yep.
So I was asked. One, my child was competing, so of course I was going to be here. But I was also asked to lead, to be the what would be the position I'm in, because I'm the head of the crane here. What's it called? It's not
Well,
Taibo. It's something.
No, you are considered an Emerald Magistrate while you
There
are
you go.
here.
Yeah, I'm an acting Emerald Magistrate as I'm here.
Yeah.
The events that have started to take place here, I did not expect. And honestly, after the last events, I thought I was done with anything like that for the rest of my life. But as fate would have it, and as the fates would have it, I'm not.
And I was present to witness a murder that they failed to stop, and they required a competent investigator.
You failed to stop it as well, sir.
I was not already on the case, nor was I aware that it was happening.
I had just walked into the room, just as you.
Regardless, they
That
required
was the first time. That's the first time I ever saw a thing made out of shadow, which is not anything I encountered with these shapeshifters. They're more like giant spiders. That shadow thing, I have never heard or seen anything like it before. Which makes me wonder if we're not dealing with two forces that are working together.
So
We are. We most decidedly are working with more than one force opponent.
So out of character question, would
Shut up.
I can't remember the name. Kusho. Would he know or be familiar with that? Would that shadow mention remind him of anything the Phoenix Shugenja can do?
Not that they can do, but that they have definitely fought, which is the Lying Darkness.
Okay.
No.
So
Members,
thank you for the recap. Okay.
Members that adhere to the Living Shadow, the Lying Shadow, are sometimes referred to as members of the Kolat. But if you believe in the Kolat, you also believe in ninjas, and nobody would dress in black
Nobody
pajamas.
believes in ninjas. They don't exist.
Silly.
Really.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you for the recap. It was a lot. You've been busy. More immediately, Considering you have been at least if not officially sanctioned by the Empire to investigate, I'm willing to help.
Thank you.
Tonight, though,
Appreciated.
of course, tonight, did either of you note how Daigoji, is that her?
Daidoji?
How she
Daidoji?
spoke of, yes, the lady we were escorting.
Yeah.
Did either of you note how she spoke of this lady?
Yes, we spoke
Zako?
on the way to the competition. And I told
I
him,
recalled her reaction to hearing the name, but I'd already left before
they were old
any
friends.
information.
They had met only once before, but apparently she impressed her with her kindness. And it left a lasting impression, and by what she thinks, this is very unlike her. I did tell her that there's a chance that it's not really her, that it's something that took her shape. So that seemed to have calmed her a little in a weird way.
If I were a suspicious man, and I'm not,
If
that is a weakness that could be exploited by Lady Tanako.
Of course.
One.
Correct.
And two, we left her to give the story to the Daimo. We don't know what the details were of that conversation. Could have left out a whole lot. But I'm not a suspicious man.
I don't think she would. Her honor is beyond reproach.
Then I will accept that.
I appreciate your observations. I see that we are of a similar mind on certain things.
a young girl comes over and she puts down a bottle of sake in a clay pot of what looks to be steaming water. And then she lays out 3 cups. This is with regards from the Bayushi-san.
I offer
She bows and
bow
starts
to the
backing
young
off.
girl.
I look over in that direction and give a bow.
Yep, it's the owner. He just nods.
You're friends with the owner.
I pour them both a glass.
He owns the tea house. It is his business to be friends with everyone within its walls.
Fair enough. Well, hold up a glass.
And he kind of pulls the mask up a bit. And from what you can see of his face, he's actually very young looking. Probably no more than late teens, upper middle teens. He's a lot younger face than you might think.
He's a baby.
Yeah. The Bayushi comes over and pours the doji a cup of sake. I hope you don't mind. He is dressed in blacks and reds. He has this silk mask that looks like 2 scorpions coming together to form a mouth. But otherwise they kind of curl up towards the parts that wrap around his ears. Long black hair. Top part ponytail, but the bottom is kind of let loose. And he motions almost wordlessly, and the same girl kind of puts a chair under him as he goes to sit down.
I move a cup to him and I pour it.
There's only
what was
3.
the name of our...
Oh, then I...
Yeah, he poured you
Hold
a
his
cup.
head back and pour it in.
Actually, no, you know what? I reach down into my bag and I pull out one of my crab ones.
Mm,
And I put it and I pour it for him.
okay.
Refresh my memory. What was the name
Yep.
of our newest suspect? Lady
Tanako.
Hanako.
Hanako?
Yeah.
Hmm?
Tanako.
You are one who is well
Hanako.
informed of those in the area. Tell me, do you
Oh.
know of a Lady Tanako?
He opens a fan and he puts it up to his mouth. Oh, you are such a flatterer, Soshi-san. I see what the Bayushi sees in you, and he kind of claps the thing closed when he says that to emphasize the point that he knows.
The Bayushi, as all members of our clan are, have a remarkable eye for talent.
That's what it is. Noted. And he puts the
I can
fan.
think of nothing else.
But you have a question. I can see it bubbling behind your eyes.
Yes, Lady Tanako, tell me, have you heard of her?
Now, how did you come across that name, I wonder?
Because she instructed a Eta on how to use Maho sorcery and used him to assassinate a number of people a very short while ago.
Oh.
Killing my cousin in the process.
Oh. That is dire.
Very.
Wow. One, I can start by telling you that I had thought she had died. So news of her survival is mixed. Two, she was a nurse and maid to the previous daimyo before he was, shall we say, asked to leave to a different province, so that our dear Miwa-sama, he catches himself, may have free reign of the province. A gift for his wedding from his family, as it were.
How did she
I'm
supposedly
playing a game.
die?
What did you say, Ben?
I was telling my cat to please be quiet. Daddy was
Okay.
playing a game.
Oh.
Yeah.
He looks at you, Doji-san, and he says, it is a very sad story. You see, when the daimyo was asked to leave, and he makes sure that he points asked very much like a stabbing motion.
Yes.
He doesn't actually do a stabbing motion, but his words make it feel very much like he knows something that isn't kosher. When he was asked to leave the province, he was told to only take his wife and children with him. So our dear Lady Tanako was left behind. And I shouldn't have to explain to you that the title of lady is honorary. She is not anything higher than a peasant. She was never given a family name. She's never been asked for one. In the interim, when the what's a good word? Buffoon that was placed here while the Miwa was off getting married did not have the best interest of the town, let alone the province. And some bandits, led by a Ronin, came into town, and the Ashigaru were not skilled as they are now. Some heavy losses were sustained, and if not for the many favors that I had accrued, I don't think that we would have fared off as good as we did.
Fascinating tale. Any particular reason she would have a grudge against the Empire?
And whatever happened to the buffoon who was in charge?
He earned his keep and took whatever was shared from the spoils of the attacks, and disappeared. The road out of the town between here and Cinnamon Forest is very dangerous.
I've heard that said more than once.
Is that where the temple is?
No. Cinnamon Forest is the Scorpion lands.
Okay.
Never go into Cinnamon without a guide that knows what they're doing.
So, well, thank you.
But
It's insightful.
Soshi-san, to answer your question, there were more than a few casualties. Her body was amongst those that didn't survive, didn't run fast enough, that just fell to the machine of the Empire.
Wait, so you saw a body?
Mm-hmm. I was training under my tutor, my mentor, as it were, the Bayushi that I have taken this from. And so, in my eagerness to be useful, to learn what I could, and to maybe come out with a secret or two, I made my way around after every attack, and I saw the brutality of what hungry men do. It wasn't pleasant.
So we have someone that is known to be dead that has suddenly risen back and has quite a measure of fell sorcery at their disposal.
Or it might be somebody wearing that skin, a thing wearing her skin.
I feel that all who practice such fell arts are no more than things wearing the skins of normal people.
Well said.
And
thank
the
Hmm?
environs around the temple, any particular noteworthy history or things we should be aware of if we were to, say, mount an expedition to?
To the old temple.
Yes.
Yes.
I would be careful. It is said that dangerous creatures lurk around. I believe one of my herbalists claimed a bear was in the area. Heard some rutting noises, but I personally haven't seen anything of the nature there. But I do know that after the human touch was removed from the place, the old spirits moved back in, and some say that a small coven, I don't know the word for it, but a group, a clutch of Naga were seen around there.
Well, we have 5 stout and strong arms able to lend ourselves to the task. So I think that we should be up to it. Thank you.
Of
for all
course.
of your information.
And he pours each of
Your-
you another cup, and he takes the sake out and just finishes his cup and slides it back to you, Doji-san.
I trust that the gift of the latest developments in this investigation were sufficient recompense for your time and stories that you gave us.
Your presence in my tea house is gift enough, my young samurai.
Smirking behind his mask, he offers a bow.
And he'll bow to each of you in turn and take his bowl of sake away. And without
So-
missing a beat, the girl comes over, takes a chair, and puts it back where it was.
My proposal is thus. We go to the old temple. I, of course, will get a bit of a head start once we reach a predetermined point. I will approach alone, find out what I can, and ingratiate myself, if need be, to the lady who is there. After a predetermined amount of time, the two of you will enter the scene. And once we have the information we require, we do great violence to everyone involved.
Of course, we move in quicker if there's a signal.
Of course.
Hmm.
Tell me, have either of you any jade in the event that we do encounter more creatures touched by this sorcery?
No.
I do not.
There's unfortunately, Tamori left with the jade finger wrapped around the blade.
Well, I'm glad I have
Actually,
a
hold on.
small amount of...
Hold on. She may have taken it back. I do not know. Actually, I have no idea where she is.
They
Where they are. Sorry.
yeah, they were left behind.
So no, we have no jade.
I have a finger's worth, but that would be about it. The necklace seller that I found was an excellent purveyor.
I fought them once. They will not catch me unawares again of their toughness. I just have to aim for the soft parts.
We're talking about the skinwalkers, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
When they're no longer in skin, they're giant spiders type things.
Excellent.
Yeah. Very hard shell, but there's soft spots you can.
Are they more vulnerable when
To
they're in
you
a
could poke
form?
at it. Yeah. Huh?
Are they more vulnerable when they're in a human form?
Yes, I would think they are. But they don't stay in that form for long.
When there's danger, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
At least.
Well, actually, no, because the one that was in my father's form fought me in my father's form. Yeah. So, but I kind of think that was to prove a point.
Hmm.
Because when I tell you
Well-
he fought just like my father, he fought just like my father.
Ben.
Something occurred to me after the fact
Mhm.
that I meant to ask you, where I didn't think to ask it at the time. I shall, as they're talking, take a moment, close my eyes, and reflect. When I was in close proximity to the Maho practitioner,
Mhm.
did I have any particular urges to touch him with the arm?
No,
Or did it give any strange impressions?
it did not.
Well, we have quite a Do we want to go tonight or do we want to wait?
I think we need to
we would
prepare.
go tonight to the temple,
Hmm.
and we might lose our opportunity if we don't.
Let us be about it. Fortified with sake and the warm grace of this illustrious establishment, I can think of no better way of girding our loins for the potential battle to come.
Fortified with the bravery of sake.
Mhm. All of you grab your gear, make sure that you all have what you need to have with you, and as you start to follow the Soshi out towards the abandoned temple, this would be a good place to call it for tonight.
Mhm.
So I want to thank you guys for coming back. I want to thank our newest face,
missed
and
this.
Tara.
Welcome.
I hope that you're having a good time. I know that you're new to the
That was
game.
fantastic. That was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. So
I love your. I love how you're like. This is. I'm gonna go home. I'm done here. Bye.
yeah.
I'm already out.
This is some fuck shit. But as always, thank you guys, and thank you to the audience for joining us. As always, I want to give you guys a chance to plug whatever you're into. So let's start with you, Ben. What are you up to? Where can people find you on the internet if you want to be found?
I'm Rev Ben Powers everywhere.
Mhm.
I think the only upcoming project I have is a Scion game that will be starting next month on this very channel. I am very excited for.
Yeah, boy.
I'll be playing a very old British man, and that appeals to me.
Yeah.
As far as other stuff, just fighting the unrelenting ennui of the unrelenting hellscape that we are currently in right now as a group.
Unfortunate.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much it.
Okay.
Yep.
Pete,
Love you guys.
Yeah, love you too. Pete, what are you up to? Where can people find you on the internet if you want to be found?
On Instagram, you can find me at StatMonkey. I'm with Paradigm Concepts. I'm finishing up the second edition of Rotted Capes. We just had the Kickstarter. Well, a while ago, we had the Kickstarter for Tome of Adventures 2, which went well, and we fulfilled.
Nice.
We're about to fulfill the last part of that Kickstarter, which is the prestigious compendium, which was like a book of subclasses themed for Arcanus, of course.
Nice.
We're working on some other projects. We're still working on the project I told you about last time, which we're not ready to announce who's writing it yet, but it's fucking cool. And that's pretty much it.
Okay. And Tara, what are you up to? Where can people find you on the internet if you want to be found?
Well, mostly if you're looking for me, I'm over on McStabber's Discord. I don't do much of the socials otherwise. Over there, I play a little banger of a game on Saturday nights called Chicago Hidden City, and if you can catch that, it's a good time. We have a great crew and a great storyteller.
You do.
And then in 2 weeks, I might be joining the Anarchs on this channel. Little shenanigans. They like to circle around the red button, and we need to fix that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you saw what they did with Jimmy Trash Cans. So
they didn't do anything with Jimmy Trash Cans because I wasn't there.
With Jimmy Trash Cans, bro.
Jimmy Trash Cans, and then I'll be back here every other Thursday for some more Legend of the Five Rings, which has been really friggin' fun.
Yeah. So, hopefully you enjoy the system as much as the rest of us do, because it is a fantastic system. But thank you guys once again, as always, and as Pete said, there is a hellscape out there, so please know that it is okay to not be okay. And if you need help, and you're watching live, there are phone numbers going up in our Twitch chat, so you can find the help that you need, because sometimes just taking that first step is what matters. If you're not in the United States or you don't do well with phone calls or text messages, you can go to findthehelpline.com. It's also in the Twitch chat. All the information will be in the YouTube description box if you need it. Please know, whatever is going on, whatever dystopian trash heap the current president is trying to push, please know that there are people out there who want to help you. And all you need to do is take that first step. And there are resources. So Don't sleep on them. If you need help, please get it. Because it's okay to not be okay. You know, more people need to be told that sometimes, and just kind of like reminded that there are good people out there who want to help you. So as always, we will be back on Monday with a Camarilla chapter of our V5 game. Tuesday is Dark, and then next Thursday is 7th Sea. Otherwise, you can catch me every Wednesday as I've infiltrated the McStabber Studios, where I get to...
part of your evil plan.
all part of my evil plan, where I get to play lovable, non-dangerous scamps of characters. And this week, coming up on the 28th, I will also be a guest player on their Kansas City game. So you get to watch me be the best sire that has ever been in their Kansas City vampire game. But otherwise, we'll see you when we see you. Please take care of yourselves. Have a good night. Bye, everybody.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.